father died that year too, like 2024, like maybe like not too long after, and that's where like all the weight of responsibility just came down on me. It kind of made me appreciate my dad a lot more for knowing like the weight that was on him to provide for the family. And pops, man, you did it. You raised a good man. You raised a good family. Hi, my name is David Fevrier, 31 years old. Right now I'm an auto mechanic, and my physical fitness, I'd say, on and off. There's times where I'm high, there's times where I'm low. Friends would describe me, uh, super chill guy. Never really met too many people that don't like me. It's not saying that in a bragging way, just saying that as like I'm just chill to be around. I don't ask too much from people. Just, yeah, very friendly, very cool. And martial arts, I've done about maybe 6 or 7 months of Muay Thai. That's as much physical fitness I've done, and that's like once every Friday.
We asked a lot out of Calvin today, basically out of nowhere. You haven't worked out in a while. You came in here and you busted your butt. We asked you to do a bunch of boxing rounds and grappling rounds and pretty much go as hard as you can. What was your experience like?
Oh man, had a lot of fun. I mean, you pushed me to the limit for sure. I mean, you didn't pull your punches. Made sure I got those. Started off with the warm up. Once I saw the warm up, I knew we're in for something special. I'm like, okay, yeah, we're gonna work out today. And then when we got to the striking and especially the BJJ, that makes like striking for me is easy. I can do 10 minutes of that of striking, light striking, no problem. BJJ, 2-3 minutes, you're gassed. 30 seconds if you're doing it right.
Thank you for coming in today. But I mean, why would you agree to something like this? This is like an insane thing to agree to.
I mean, to be honest with you, I had every thought against it, especially when I first saw the video and everything. I was like, okay, this sounds, different. I'm like, they're gonna. I saw the trailer. I saw like the weird naked choke. I'm like, these guys are gonna make me pass out for like, hey, ever been passed out? Ever passed out before? And so I was just like wary, but once I got here, energy was cool. You guys let me into your home, super. Guys, super cool, very accommodating. Made me feel, at home, with you guys. So you guys are very chill, man. Yeah. It was still a crazy experience though. Like I don't know, if somebody else invites me, I'm gonna do something like this again. But this right here, I mean, I'd do this again. This was fun.
Awesome. Yeah, great to hear. And I mean, you're a super nice guy. And I think like right off the bat, like right away, we liked you and you have that good energy coming in. And just that openness to come here, try something like that. Like, this is not easy to do. Someone invites you, hey, come to our house and we're just going to have you box and do jujitsu. Like, that takes like a special type of courage to actually like follow through and do that. And I imagine like you, anyone driving here to do this, like a lot of uncertainty. It's like, what am I getting myself into? Like, why am I doing? I can turn around right now. Yeah. So big kudos to you to just like following through on this. We asked a lot out of you. We asked a lot out of you physically, but also emotionally too. We really pushed you. Tell me like what you were struggling with today. Like, who was the monster to you today?
It was definitely myself. I sometimes we look at the world and we look at other people, outside sources as the problem. Like, the reason I'm the way I am right now is because of someone else or something else. And sometimes we have to look inside and just be like, you're the problem. Just get up, do what you're supposed to do. You know what you have to do. You just simply don't do it. And I'm trying to break that habit of like getting up and not doing as much as I know that I could, just for the sake of like, I might miss out on something, or I don't know, what do they call it, fear of missing out now, stuff like that. Like, I don't really care for that stuff anymore. Just get up and do it.
Yeah. And you told us a little bit about your situation. You have a new baby on the way. You got a new job. It seems like there's a lot of change. Like, what's your current situation?
Yeah. I guess very quickly I'll go through my work history. I mean, was a radio frequency engineer for like 10 years. Made my way out of the field after I got um, my bachelor's degree. Got laid off like a year after that. So that I finally got my dream job, making good money and everything. Um, at that time, getting serious with my girlfriend, now wife. Uh, as I got laid off there, I thought, hey, I could find another job. Couldn't find another job. You know, first roller coaster came, big dip in financial income, making basically $0 a week because I couldn't find a job. Uh, Scary. Wife's pregnant. Because like, so now what are you gonna do? So now you're hustling, busting, trying to hustle, trying to find anything you can do, doing electrician work. I mean, just doing anything I can find, you know. Find. It got to a point where my father died that year too, like 2024, like maybe like not too long after, and that's where like all the weight of responsibility just came down on me a lot of times. Where, I mean, like luckily enough, I have a couple of siblings, you know, that are in a situation that they can help. But me at the house with my mother, I'm the bread. I have to be the breadwinner for her, my wife, my kid, my unborn son, without any real working skills besides technology. And if you can't get a tech job, then what are you gonna do? You know, so you know.
This is something that I know a lot of people can relate to. The economy is tough right now. There's a lot of people out there that are struggling to get a job, and they're having to live with that anxiety of what am I going to do with my life? You know,
Yeah.
how am I going to support myself? How am I going to support my family? Your situation, it must be really nerve wracking because you are the breadwinner of the family. You
Yeah.
know, you have an elderly mom, your father passed away, you have a kid, your wife is pregnant. How do you? It's the pressure of the world
Yeah.
just on your shoulders. Like you have to make this happen.
For
You
sure.
know, you have to grow up quickly. Like tell us a little bit about what that's like.
I mean, it was a very tough thing to grasp in the beginning. You know, sometimes you know if you're especially if you're not prepared, uh, sometimes life just has a way of just like throwing things in your face and it's like, hey, deal with it, and you kind of have to. And you either gonna let it break you, or you're either gonna just take it and learn from it, do better, work hard, get out of the situation that you're in.
What really resonated with what you said today is just the anger that you had for yourself, for your past self. Yeah, tell us a little bit about like those feelings that you have about like just your anger with yourself, your past self.
For sure. So yeah, in the past, just always like having self doubt and just like over analyzing certain situations instead of just like having the action, just go out and do it and try it. Like if I went all the way with anything that I chose in life, I could have been successful at it. But I get halfway there, see the finish line, then turn away, then turn around right at the finish line, right before I actually get to it. And instead of just being accountable for that and just saying that I just said, that wasn't for me. This is what I really want to do. Then I do that, and then I do it for half, like halfway through again. Then I just fall off again, and just this is a never ending cycle. So I got to learn how to stick with something, do it, and the money will come. Stop, hopping from place to place, whatever, field to field. You're never gonna make it that way, and the family's suffering because of it.
I mean, we're gonna be rooting for you. And what's that situation for you right now? Because, like we mentioned, you're starting a new job. You got a baby on this way. You're living with this pressure.
Yeah.
Like, what's different now than your past self?
Really, I've been praying a lot, getting to know God a lot. That's been helping me a lot. If I didn't have him in my life, man, I'd be crumpled right now. So much at once just hit me. It's just so. If I didn't have that backbone in my life, it'd be over with for me. And then on top of that, man, just pushing through it, man. Uh, yeah, no one's gonna feel sorry for you. You just gotta get up there and go out there and do something, man.
It seems like you started and stopped a lot of things in
A
your
lot of
past,
things.
and you took new routes. Right now, you're in a situation where you're in a similar situation. You started a new thing. what can you say to yourself, or what's going to be different this time around, where you are going to stick to this and you're going to make the right decisions? How are you going to do that?
Every night, I do this thing where I look all around me at what I got and say, hey, you're responsible for all of this. And it kind of made me appreciate my dad a lot more for knowing like the weight that was on him to provide for the family. Now I understand like those sleepless nights, trying to make a way. So now I get it. So now I see what he did to was, hey, oh, he woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning, got to it, did what he had to do. Family was never hungry. I got to do the same. Wake up early, stop complaining, just do what I got to do, and make sure that my the family's fed. That's the first thing on the checklist.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is a hell of a motivator,
yeah,
having that on your shoulders. You mentioned that your father passed. If you're comfortable talking about that,
sure,
can you?
absolutely.
Yeah, what was that like for you?
Oh, tough. You see, I've been lucky enough to have like a couple of like father figures in my life, people who were in my life for long periods of time, who you know helped me navigate adolescence through adulthood, and how to be a man, how to take care of your family, how to provide, how to do everything and everything like that. But it just hits different when it's your dad. Like when it's your dad, you start, you also got these memories of like all the good times of him coming home from work, you're running up to him, giving him a hug, him bringing you things, whatever, and laughing with you, sitting down. We used to have conversations for hours, sit down watching sports, and he would just talk to me about life, just instilling wisdom in me every single day. Spend time with your kids, talk to them, even if they look like they're bored, even if they're falling asleep on you or something because you're talking too much, just enjoy those periods of time because they remember it, and they remember like all that wisdom that you're spitting into them like every single day. So just spend time with them, talk to them. I appreciate that from my dad. But what happened was in 20, I believe it was 2022 or 2023. I want to say it was 2022. Um, he got into a real bad car accident, had a traumatic brain injury on his way to work after he was retired. He was just that kind of man who's like, even after retirement, I got to get up and move. I got to go work. So that's what ended up happening to him. It was raining, car slipped, went into oncoming traffic, and he was, like fighting for his life for a good period of time, for maybe about a good 3 years after that, 2 3 years after, 2.5 maybe. Died in 2024, which as much as it hurt, it was good to see him pass because he was suffering a lot, and that's not the way he went. He was very, very, very proud. He was one of those guys saying like, "Oh man, I don't want to, I don't want to be, in a wheelchair and getting fed through a tube, and somebody gotta, you know, take care of me all the time and everything like that." But that's what ended up happening, and he had to swallow his pride a little bit, and but when he swallowed his pride and he actually asked us for help, you see something change in him. He was very, you know, you, he taught me a lot about like just humbling yourself sometimes, whatever, because you never know what's gonna happen. You're always gonna need your family around you, and since he was so super, really, really good to us, he was an amazing dad to us. We took care of him really, really well in his final days too. So, he died in our arms, surrounded by family. He went peacefully, but there's times we wish you did more. If I stopped screwing around earlier in early ages, I would have just found something, stuck with it, did something, could have took them on vacations, maybe have them see the world a little bit more. Maybe he didn't have to go to work, and that would have never happened. Sometimes guilt gets to you, but everything happens for a reason. God got me, and everything was in His plan. So I don't really think too much on it anymore. I just think about the good times that we had.
Thanks for sharing. Talk more about how your father's affected you.
How he affected me. Ooh. He was super effective in my life. He was somebody who I never seen anybody love their family more than my dad. My dad was the kind of guy who, he would give, his last dollar to you, give the shirt off his back. He'll help anyone out. he'll come home from a hard day of work, whatever, don't have any money left, and send money to his family, in other places who need help. And he was just like very loving, giving, wanted to support everybody. And when I saw that, and like, and you see how much people, how many people like loved my dad, whatever, because like, oh man, whenever I'm in a tough situation, this guy, he's here to help me out. Whenever just being around him, he's good energy. Oh man, I love this guy, man. He's always a good time. So I just learned a lot about being for my dad, and also just working hard. He's one of the hardest workers I know. He would every single day. He would right after waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, go work a 8 to 10 hour shift, go straight to the gym, LA Fitness. 70 something years old. Imagine a 70-year-old with a six pack, what I'm saying, veins bulging out, whatever. He's just ripped. It's just crazy. You're just looking at this guy. He's like, you don't look 70. Everywhere he goes, you're thinking like, oh man, like you're in your 50s or something. I didn't think you were in your 70s. Like, no, just stop drinking alcohol. Yeah, he's like, just stop drinking and work out. You'll be okay. Drink water. And next thing you know, man, this guy's the most shredded guy in our family at 70 years old. Yeah, but he showed me how to be a good leader in your family, how to cover your family to make sure they worry for nothing. So I'm learning those lessons, as I grow up and seeing the difficulties he went through. It's time for me to do what he did, and then do what he did for his family, to my family, things like that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Man, Pops, man, you did it. You raised a good man. You raised a good family. All your family still thinks about you to this day. We never stopped. We never stopped thinking about you. Every time we get together, one of the first things that we do, we're always talking about, oh man, Daddy would have loved this, Dad would have loved that, and it just shows how much you affected our family. Best father in the world that I could ask for. I've been blessed abundantly because of you. Job well done. You've done everything that you're supposed to. I got the torch in my hand. I'm going to carry it. I'm going to carry it well.